Today, most people would call me a rebel or a villain. And I'm wearing my Buffalo Soldier hat proudly. And most people get angry because they said the black man fought the Indian. But the black man fought himself, and he fought anything that got in his way, because once he became a soldier, that was his job, to fight. But you know, they never talk about how these 5 supposedly, what do you call that? When you're civilized, the civilized tribes. They never talked about how they owned slaves and fought, with the South, to keep their slaves. So this history is all messed up. Black people even had slaves themselves. So I don't feel sorry for nobody, and I wear what I want to wear. When James Dean was called a rebel, nobody said nothing. Marlon Brando. But the minute a black man decides to stand up, all of a sudden, you label him treacherous. You understand? You label him like Herbert Hoover said. The worst thing that can happen to America and the biggest threat to America is black unity. Right now we fractured, splintered. We don't know who or what we are. We don't even try to find out. But I tell you, all roads lead back to Africa, because even if you were here thousands of years, you know what I think? You go back far enough, you find the roots of the very tree of human civilization is in Africa. Enough said. Today, I'm going to give you something that was written, and it's a message, not only from the ancestors, from my brother. It's called The False Prophet, and this is something that plagues our community, because the only thing that I could remember materialistic that the white enslaver gave us was a book that he stole from us. And with that book, he stole not only our land, he stole our minds, our money, and everything else, and even our future. Not to say that he didn't steal our children. It's called The False Prophet. Seen a brother on a corner just the other day with the Bible in his hand. He had a lot to say. A crowd had gathered. On his soapbox he stood, calling all who would listen a sinner. Said the book had made him good. Ranting and raving says we all going to hell. He was sent on a mission with a story to tell. By now, the crowd grew restless, and a voice shouted, "Tell us what you say." Another voice said, "I'm on my lunch break. I don't have all day." He told us the likes and the dislikes of the God he served. Say whoever don't listen got a whole lot of nerve. Now he's sweating and speaking in tongues, in a trance-like state, got a look in his eyes, a look of pure hate. Says he hates anyone who don't attend Sunday service. His face like a contortionist. Now the crowd is getting a little nervous. Some people start to leave while others look up in dismay, bewildered at why a man would talk and act this way. The sun beams on his forehead. Suddenly he begins to shout, falls off the soapbox and knocks himself out. People in the crowd are aghast. Some shout 911. Others are screaming he fell as if he was shot by a gun. Suddenly he starts to awaken, feels the knot on his head, tell those who revived him for a minute, "I thought I was dead." Suddenly an old elderly man appeared with a small mirror, tells him, Mr. Frantic, to look at his reflection, look real hard. Says if your spirit is right, you're looking at God. So you don't need no fool, and this much is true. To lead you to God, He is already in you. Now that's from my brother, I respect so highly, and I was given that permission. Now, I'm going to tell you something. It's time to take the gloves off. You know, in China, there's a place that is called Nagas, N-A-G-A-S. You wonder where the word nigger come from? You're always talking about, you know, a lot of people don't like to use that on the network, but you know what? People have been saying this for a long time, but the true nigger comes from Europe. You know, you see, but we don't know that. You see? See, we built civilizations, and this is why we were detached from the knowledge and of who we are, because you're scared of the Creator. And guess what? You understand this is true. Now, before I go, the Negora is a special breed, though. They have no memory or recollection of the past. Reminds me a little bit of FBA. They're not black, they're not nigger or Negro, and they claim no affiliation with suffering, mayhem, or pain. The Negora is insane and spreads insanity wherever he goes. He is a master of Negroology, a science that was taught to him by his master to perpetually control black people on a daily basis. And just like his master, he's been educated to one fact. That fact is money. Now remember that. His goal is to make money by any means necessary or by any means unnecessary. The Negora led the white man into power that exists within him today. In other words, without the Negora, the white man doesn't exist. Dr. Arikana came on here over YouTube the other day, and she moved my spirit. And she talked about why Africans hate other Africans, African Americans, you know, foundational black men or Americans. But we don't have to like one another. I don't have to like you to do what's best for the black race as a whole. Why we can't put our money together? Why we got athletes, we got celebrities that don't give nothing to the cause? We got 3 lions over there in Africa fighting off the whole world by themselves, and we sit over here like, you know, we drinking coffee at Starbucks because we don't care. And you know that makes me sick. You know, I feel like I got to do something, even if I don't do nothing but talk to you and tell you, you know, the things that I feel. And if you don't feel nothing, you understand? That means that your spirit is dead. And so your connection to Africa is dead. But you know, I know that your spirit talks to you. I get all these so-called Christians talking about a God that they think they know when their God is in them the whole time. They've just quieted it and decided to listen to that other God that walks this earth that looks just like them but has a white mask. You know, I don't understand it. The very people that mistreat you is who you run to, okay? They'll never like you. They'll never love you. And the only thing that they're gonna do is use you until they use you up. And if you don't know what I mean, listen to Bill Withers. He'll tell you about it. He got a song about that. Michael Jackson, Prince, and a whole lot of other people, Jackie Wilson, they were executed. You understand? You know the reason why? Because they saw the truth and they decided not to live like a slave no more.